The name Donkey Kong is not just a household name. It's used in music, movies, and even Seth Rogen. It was basically the birth of the Nintendo that we know today. Donkey Kong games have been banger after banger, but we're just gonna ignore that one right there. After releasing a few Donkey Kong games in the 80s that felt a little samey, Nintendo needed a new refreshed version of the Banana Swallower for its Super Nintendo system. Along with this, they redesigned the character and gave him a whole f***ing family. Get the hell out of here, DK Jr. Good luck being stuck in Super Mario Kart forever! Donkey Kong Country came out to wide and massive praise of the gaming community. It was unique, it was beautiful, and the music, oh my god, the music. I don't even need to say anything about it. Video Game Donkey made an entire video about it. Then they released Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy Kong's Quest. Banger. Donkey Kong Country 3 with my buddy Dick. Banger. And the DK Land games on Game Boy, and even Diddy Kong Racing. Banger. Which was arguably better than Mario Kart. Rare made a racing game that was better than Mario Kart on a Nintendo system. Think about that. At this point, everyone knew Rare couldn't miss. They'd made hit after hit after hit. They just released their universally loved Baron Bird game. Now, the N64 was struggling sales-wise, but quality-wise, it was giving Sony and Sega the mother of all nipple twists. When Mario made the jump to 3D, it literally changed the gaming industry forever. When Zelda did it, it redefined storytelling and adventure, showing everyone what a game could be capable of. Star Fox 64 is still the best Star Fox game to date, or at least the best universally reviewed and loved. I personally like Star Fox Adventures. Oh, and Kirby was there too. No, I actually really like Kirby and the Crystal Shards, but one thing was missing. Where the fuck is the monkey? With all of Nintendo's IP making the jump to 3D and looking damn fine doing it, Donkey Kong 3D was basically guaranteed an inevitable success. The best developer at the time was making a game with arguably the most recognizable IP under the supervision of the best gaming company on a system that has released multiple masterpieces. Well, in 1999, Donkey Kong 64 was finally revealed and released. It was critically acclaimed with the highest of praises. People were shouting from the rooftops, "Rare has done it again!" But then, some bananas started getting that ooey gooey black spot that no one wants to eat. All of a sudden, people started hating the game. The long-awaited 3D Donkey Kong game was no longer worth the wait. Poor Donkey Kong didn't look nearly as sexy jumping into 3D like Kirby did. God damn, Kirby! This led to backlash from fans, poor reviews, and bad word of mouth. Unfortunately, this made Donkey Kong 64 the
Donkey Kong! Donkey Kong! Donkey Kong is here! Okay!
Fast forward to 2025 and DK64 is still the one and only 3D Donkey Kong game. That is until Donkey Kong Bonanza, which looks so damn good. So in order to prepare for the second attempt at Amazing Monkey 3D, I decided to 101% DK64. Just a disclaimer, I didn't use any save states or rewind with emulation, just so we're clear. Well, this isn't the only reason I decided to do this, but we'll get to that later. I didn't decide to completely ravage this game until a few hours into it. I was just planning to beat the base game because honestly, the thought of 101%ing this game terrified the shit out of me. I would much rather do literally anything else. But I pulled up my big boy pants and I got to work. So in case you didn't know, DK64 was released at a time when collectathons were all the rage. Everyone loved going into a game and seeing a shiny thing, suddenly deciding, I need them all. Just for comparison, Mario 64 has 120 stars. Kirby and the Crystal Shards has 74 shards. 14,000 gems in Spyro the Dragon, which sounds like a lot, but there's just one collectible and you just run around the level and they basically magnetize to you. And Banjo and Kazooie, which, sorry, I need to read this just to make sure I get this right, has 100 Jiggies, 900 notes, 115 Mumbo tokens, 45 Jinjos, and 24 honeycombs. Now, Donkey Kong 64, sorry, I have to read this, I'm gonna get it wrong. 3,500 bananas unique to each Kong, 40 blueprints also unique to each Kong, 201 golden bananas, 5 of which are unique to each Kong in each level, 40 banana medals, you know what, everything is unique to each Kong, 10 K-Rool crowns, 8 keys, 20 banana fairies, 1 N64 coin, and 1 RareWare coin, totaling 3,821 collectibles. God damn! And trust me when I say, this game makes you feel like there are way more collectibles than that. And shout out to this cool Reddit user showing a visualization of the collectibles compared to different games. To get most of these items, you have to comb through and scrape the deepest crevices of each level. Thank God the pause menu showed how many you were supposed to collect, because without it, I would have been f***ed. I'm honestly surprised the developers put any assistance to the player in this game compared to what else they did to the player. More on that later. Collecting all of these items is just one piece to the stupid jigsaw puzzle of the game when it comes to completing it. To this day, people still complain about the collectibles in DK64. I don't care what they say. They're right. This was way too damn much, especially since to collect every single item, you have to use every Kong. And don't worry, it's very inconvenient and very time consuming to switch Kongs. You'll go through an entire level as DK, you're collecting his yellow bananas, you're doing his mini games, and you also notice, there's a switch with Diddy Kong's face on it. Oh, there are also purple bananas here, but Donkey Kong can't grab them. And there's a golden banana, but nope, sorry, you can't collect it. Then you slowly start to realize you have to go all the way back to the tag barrel, switch to the Kong you need, and comb through the entire level again. Genuinely. What the fuck? Visiting all the levels was interesting, nostalgic, and a little fun for the first hour of it. But then after that point, I was absolutely sick of retreading the same ground over and over. I just wanted to get the fuck out of there and move on to something new. Speaking of, let's move on to the next section of the video. The part of the game that I remember the least when I was little. The mini games. Why did anyone think putting half of these mini games in was a good idea? First off, you have to play the mini games using this. Now honestly, I did play half the game using the wireless N64 controller and the other half in handheld mode on my Steam Deck. My thumb was almost raw after using the N64 controller for about an hour. Second off, some of these mini games are impossible to complete. Well, that's actually not entirely true. Some of them feel harder to beat than Dark Souls, and exactly one is impossible to beat without exploiting the game. Now we'll start with the beavers. Beaver Bother in DK64 is a rather simple mini game. Use this little claptrap to go around scaring the beavers into this hole like you're herding sheep. Sounds simple, right? It should work like this. Wrong! Imagine if the hole had some sort of invisible structure to where it would prevent the beaver from falling in the hole, but at some point around the circumference, there was an inch or maybe a centimeter of space to where the beaver could fall into it, successfully completing the mini game. 45% of the time. This seems like not really a hurting mini game and more of like a fuck you good luck mini game. I say this with the utmost sincerity. Beaver Bother is the worst thing to come out of video games since the E.T. video game that caused the industry to completely crash in the 80s. I'm not backing down. I mean that. Me and my friend were actually playing Donkey Kong 64 around the same time, and he was a little ahead of me, and he sent me this message in the Discord chat. I'm sure anyone in that room, when I read this, heard my butthole pucker. I was terrified to do this. And you know what? It was completely justified. Here's a clip of me finally beating the Beaver Bother minigame. I'm freaking shaking. Oh my gosh. We're on vacation right now, and I'm beating Donkey Kong 64. I've been doing Beaver Bother for a week, and I have lost my mind doing it over and over and over and over and over. I don't know how many times I did it, but I recorded every single attempt. So hopefully I can count over and see how many times I did it. But now I'm freaking, do you see how bad I'm shaking by looking at the screen? Oh my God, I'm just so glad it's over. I'm so genuinely glad it's over. This banana is gonna feel so good to get. Do your dance, Chunky. Do your little dance. Oh, I'm so happy. Oh. The impossible minigame is this one. Crazy Kong Clamor. I tried over and over to get this one, and this one felt different. This wasn't just hard, it was impossible. The goal is to shoot the golden banana without shooting any of the Kongs. Simple, but when you account for the time it takes to shoot the watermelon and the time it takes to reach its destination before everything switches around, it literally is impossible. I'm not joking when I say it's impossible. I looked it up on YouTube on how to beat it, and other people were just as stuck as I was. I thought it was over. How am I gonna 101% this game if this minigame is impossible to beat? Oh. You have to pause the game when the lights come on and then shoot, because it literally slows down the game because the N64 hardware can't handle it? Did any developer actually test this game when it was done? And finally, we have the racing minigames. I hate racing so much. More than anything, it gets my heart rate up like nothing else. Now, some of the races aren't that bad. And then there's Lanky and this stupid dipshit Beetle. Look at his dumbass little smirk. Why couldn't I just play this instead? This race takes skill. The race starts and you have to jump into your barrel first to even get some of the speed you need to race. And the Beetle's already ahead. On top of this, you have to collect at least 50 coins or you have to start the race all over. If you hit the Beetle at all when racing, you lose some of your coins. And there's also these jumps you have to make. You cannot jump even half a foot before the ledge. In order to make these jumps, you have to jump at the last possible second before Lanky falls off. I was setting up my Switch 2 when I attempted the race for like the 38th time before I finally beat it. And I didn't get to record the gameplay, but I already had my camera rolling for B footage for the Switch 2 video, so I got my reaction to beating it on camera. You can see my face when I was so excited to be done with this. I did it! And the one time I didn't record it, I'm so glad I got this on video, my god. Look at that banana. Yes! Yeah! Now, to be fair, most of the other minigames are pretty easy to beat. The amount of minigames in DK64 is pretty astounding too. Here's a fun image from the same Redditor from earlier showing the amount of minigames compared to Mario Party. Just a reminder that Mario Party is just minigames. Some of them you literally do nothing to get a golden banana, but the devs really make up for it by getting you to do this shit. What makes absolutely no sense to me is that in the same world as that Beaver Bother minigame, there's another minigame where you have to beat a maze with a time limit as Lanky. I got to the end of the maze, got the banana, and that's that, with time to spare. I then noticed there was a special barrel for Lanky. Remember, this makes him go extra fast. Not only did I beat this minigame without it, it would have made it 10 times easier to beat. Why? Why? This makes absolutely no sense. That this feels impossible, and then there's mini games like this where you don't even need the extra help. This game's making me go crazy. Seriously, did anybody test this game when it was done? After beating Beaver Bother 3 times, completing every race, collecting every banana in this game, I am no longer afraid to try Elden Ring. I now know anything is possible. Now, I do kind of feel bad because I have been on this game the entire time I've been talking. I will now sing some praises about DK64. And you can't sing without music. And the music. Oh my god!
Finally here. Perform it for you. If you know the words, you can join in too.
One thing Rare have always mastered are video game soundtracks. And Donkey Kong 64 is probably my most favorite video game soundtrack of all time. The game opens up with the DK rap, for God's sake. The main menu theme has that flute. And then the trombone comes in. And then the xylophone with the occasional dong. The intro song is so fucking majestic and beautiful, showing you this incredible island that looks like a paradise. And in that same intro song, it turns sadistic and creepy, showing that introduction of K. Rool. And God, it makes him look terrifying. The Donkey Kong Isle theme just makes you want to sit down and relax, or just explore the entire island, or just listen to the song on repeat. The DK Isle theme is so good, it's so good. The K. Lumsy theme just depresses me and makes me want to get him out of that cage. Hey, why are you so big? Jungle Japes just feels like the perfect first level theme. It says, don't worry, we won't throw Beaver Bother at you just yet. Just take your time, climb some vines. Hell, here's Diddy Kong. I don't even need to say anything about Funky's theme. Angry Aztec makes you feel like you're in a far-off land, deep in the desert, without sounding racist. Frantic Factory still creeps the absolute shit out of me, and makes me feel like I'm not supposed to be there, that K. Rool's gonna find me snooping around his base at any moment. Gloomy Galleon gives you that classic pirate theme while also sounding unique. Goddamn, there's that flute again. Crystal Caves is serene and beautiful. Every note is so wonderful. Before it's ruined by dun 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 dun. Creepy Castle is genuinely creepy. It used to scare the shit out of me as a little kid. Except for the songs in one of the rooms. I feel like I need to censor this. The tag barrel makes me just want to dance around with these Kongs. God, how is every soundtrack so good? And the sound effects are just as good as the soundtrack in the game. Every time you refill your health, teleport, collect an item, it just sounds so good. Basically, everything sound-wise in this game is just literally perfection. 10 out of 10 across the board. Oh, I almost forgot about Fungi Forest. This is my favorite soundtrack in the entire game. The birds, that flute again, the rising orchestra, and then falling back down with that classic dun 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 dun, and then starting back up with the xylophone. It's incredible. And this is just the day theme. There's other themes in this level, and all of them are great. However, this is the only nice thing I have to say about this wretched place. Fungi Forest is the worst level in Donkey Kong 64 by far. That's right, Fungi Forest gets its own section. My God, I cannot believe how frustrating this one level was. At this point in my playthrough, I was already done with the backtracking, switching to different Kongs over and over, collecting everything. Once I got to Fungi Forest and the nostalgia song wore off, I realized, oh, not only do you have to backtrack with every Kong like all the other levels, you also have to do special backtracking on top of backtracking because there are some sections of the level that you can only access at night, so you have to go all the way back to the main introduction area, jump on top of the treehouse, shoot the night button, jump off, get squished, and then go back to the area you were at so you can then do the night section. You don't just need to do this once. You do this countless times. I cannot express the pain that I felt when I got to a section of the level, had to change it to night, only to realize after getting into that section that I needed a different Kong, so I had to backtrack again to switch to a different Kong. I mean, my God. On top of that, there's 3 racing minigames. 3. That's not including the minecart levels. With Diddy's race, you have to fly directly through the middle of these flat PNG hoops. So every time you turn, they turn. And you can't be slightly off to the side. Nope, directly in the middle. Oh, and don't even fall behind even a little bit, or you have to start all over again. Again, no save states or rewind. And then there's this little rabbit fucker where you have to beat him twice. And the second time you beat him, he magically gets faster and you can't go into your special barrel until after the race has started. But I used a cutscene glitch to get past this. What? It's in the original N64 release. This is not cheating. No save states or rewind. And to top it all off, the impossible minigame, the one that you have to pause the game to beat, is in Fungi Forest. Seriously, fuck this place. Come for the music, stay for no reason at all. After going through Fungi Forest, I needed a break from the main game. So I invited my sister over so we could play DK64 multiplayer together, and honestly, I miss single-player focused games having multiplayer for no reason at all. Just a fun multiplayer mode that you can play with your family or friends. And this was so fun to play again. The multiplayer mode is simple, but awesome. You pick your favorite Kong, mine was Lanky with green pants, and you can use oranges to shoot your gun, and use your hands to fight and beat your opponents. Unfortunately, there is only one stage, but it's pretty big. It takes a while to get around the whole thing. I know I'm streaming into the void at this point, but developers, please bring simple multiplayer like this back. And I know there's no extra money in it, but it makes the game so much more replayable, even if it's not online and it's just couch co-op, which sounds incredibly stupid saying that out loud nowadays. It really kind of sucks that Nintendo and other game companies don't really do this type of multiplayer mode anymore. 2-player and Nintendo games now resort to this. No one wants to be second player in this game. Now shoutouts to Kirby and the Forgotten Land, because you can actually go throughout the entire story mode with 2 players. Proper 2 players. After beating multiplayer, I got right back into beating the main game. It was time that I finished my mission. It was time that I 101% DK64. After over 20 years, when I originally played Donkey Kong 64, I finally completed my dream of not only beating it, but 101%ing it. You can technically do this without even beating the final boss too. You get nothing except the main credits when you beat K. Rool, but I had to actually complete the game, so I did do that too. I was terrified after the almost impossible minigames, collecting thousands of items, and beating the original Donkey Kong game twice, beating this stupid jetpack minigame, constant backtracking. I thought for sure the K. Rool boss fight was going to be the hardest, most frustrating thing I've ever done. So after stalling, I finally stepped into that ring. I was going to try as hard as I could. I would do attempt after attempt after attempt. I don't care if it took blood, sweat, and tears. I was going to complete this game. I was going to beat K. Rool and finally...
Yeah, it only took 2 tries.
What?
Yeah, you died the first time with Tiny Kong and the little shoe, and then you beat it after you tried again.
Oh.
Yeah, it really wasn't that hard. Yeah.
Well, after the anticlimactic showdown, I was going to collect that final banana. I had just collected the N64 coin, captured the last 2 banana fairies, and visited the Queen Banana Fairy to collect the 201st banana. After those glorious doors open, I just stood in awe of that last banana. And let me tell you, I'm so glad that this last banana was actually at least a little unique. It has the Rare logo instead of the N64 logo on it. But that's it. You don't get anything special for 101%ing the game, no special in-credit scene, no special minigame, nothing. Just the extra 1 on the save file of the game, which is honestly pretty cool to look at. So after 30 long hours, I finally completed a goal that I set when I was 7 years old. I completely and entirely 101%ed DK64 all by myself.
Mission complete!
When I played this game as a kid, I didn't remember being this frustrated. I didn't remember the countless attempts. But then I remembered I had a father. My father said he basically beat the whole game for us and we just collected the colorful bananas and did the easy mini games. Thanks, Pop. You suffered for us. He's not dead, he's just in Florida. So I decided that when I was younger, I had to not only beat the game for myself, but 101% complete the game. Completely beat this game in and out. This was a task that before I did it, I genuinely thought it was impossible. I know I talked a lot of crap about this game, but I genuinely still love it. Now it may be because of my nostalgia goggles, but besides the tantrum-induced minigames, I still had a lot of fun. I loved exploring each level, hearing the music, collecting each item, and playing as each Kong. It brought back amazing memories when me and my siblings played this game. My brother would always choose Chunky, my sister would always choose Tiny, and I was always Lanky. We'd all go through the levels together, and if there was a collectible that Chunky needed, I passed the controller to my brother. And if it was something that Tiny needed, I passed it to my sister. This game still has a ton of issues with it. There's too many collectibles, and it's way too hard for kids to beat. But it did engrave memories into my brain that I'll probably remember for the rest of my life, even if I get Alzheimer's. It sucks that this game basically killed collectathons, and it was the last 3D Donkey Kong to come out in almost 30 years. A lot of people still don't like this game, and that's perfectly fine. It's actually understandable, but every now and then when I go to the grocery store and I see a green banana, I think of the stupid memories I had as a kid when I thought that that was Chunky's banana. I still say, ooh, banana. Every time I eat a banana, I'll still hum the DK Isles theme every now and then and smile a little. And I'll always feel like a little kid when I think of this game. Now, I don't care what anyone says. Donkey Kong 64 is the most beloved Donkey Kong game.